relationships with other boys and with his father, but to him it feels like a sexual need. It feels like a craving for a romantic relationship. And it's very important to realize how strong these feelings are, because when a Christian comes along and says to him, "You're just choosing to feel that way. Shame on you. You should stop." Well, you know what happens? Immediately, the Christian loses credibility, because he says to himself, "You don't know what you're talking about. I have felt this way my whole life. I'm not choosing to feel this way." In fact, most of them will tell you they begged God to take it away. And it doesn't always work that way, because those are legitimate needs that need to be met in right ways. That God doesn't usually just take those needs away. They're intended to be met in right ways through non-sexual male connection. So it's very important to realize that change is possible, and developing healthy relationships with other males is an option, but not to downplay the severity of the situation for the person who's dealing with that. I do want to just say a couple words about lesbianism. Lesbianism, like I said, is a little bit more complex. I'm going to give you, there are actually a number of things that can contribute to lesbian development. So I'm just going to give you 3 more common forms, and again, there are a lot of others. But so one form of lesbianism starts out just like what I just described with the male version, that the girl is more of a tomboy and she hangs out more with the boys her whole life, but she's craving femininity. She's craving a sense of her own femininity and female input from others. And so for her, it's very similar to that track that I just described with the male development. The second type is a girl who is more feminine, and she probably has had a decent relationship with her mother, but somewhere very early on, maybe even in infancy, there was a break in the relationship with the mother. Now, they may have gone on to have a fine relationship, but that break occurred. Either the baby was hospitalized, or maybe the mother was hospitalized, or maybe the mother suffered depression. But for whatever reason, there was a break in the bonding early on, and even if they went on and they had a fine relationship, there's been a void left. And so for her, lesbianism is like a search for motherly love. And then the third type is a girl who has been hurt by males in her life, either abused or molested. And so for her, lesbianism is protection from further hurt from a male. And then there's one other factor. It's called emotional dependency. And this can actually even occur with 2 heterosexual women who get involved in a relationship that is unhealthy. Emotional dependency is when 2 people become overly involved with one another and seek the other person to meet their deepest emotional needs. It's a very unhealthy thing. And what can happen is, even if 2 women are heterosexuals, but they get involved in this very unhealthy relationship where there's emotional dependency, that can actually begin to cross boundaries physically, and that can actually become a sexualized relationship. But again, there are many different forms and types of lesbianism, and that's just sort of a basic overview.